Hi, this is Daniel Bill. DEMIURGOS, Path of the Leviathan, is supposed to do things different. We don't want to guide the player. You will not see any marker on the minimap in this game. Quite the opposite. All we ever offer the player to solve puzzles or reach a mission goal is dialogue, written text, or some subtle information in your environment. In today's video I want to introduce you to the interface system, and I will also talk about the great persons that appear in the game. Please note that most of the graphics are still placeholders and not the final versions. This is the main menu. As described in our preview video, the icons on the right side represent static mechanics, the map, your inventory, or your skills. The icons on the left represent interactive mechanics provided by a certain item in your inventory, the compass for example, or a camera. This video will focus on the static mechanics. First, let us talk about the most important submenu when it comes to the world and your place in it. We have already shown you the Factions and Ideologies tab and the quest log. Let's look at our quest and objective system. We don't really like how static and trivial most RPGs handle this, but we also understand that it takes much effort to have a non-generic system. Therefore we have tried to balance it. There are 8 different kinds of objectives in the game plan for now, as a minimum. Every quest consists of at least 2 of these objectives. Larger quests can have changing objectives or multiple levels and stages. Most of the times you will have secondary goals that influence the path of the story, but we always want you to have different ways to generally fulfill your missions. The subjugate objective, for example, means that person X must be subjugated to the faction Y. This can happen through an event the player will be able to trigger. He can do so by talking the target into it. This is not done simply by employing some skill, but we want the player to actually emphasize and try to look inside the person he wants to subjugate. Clues that tell him something about that person and that could be used in the dialogue are one way to advance. On the other hand, everyone has family. The most rational way to handle such an issue could be something considered highly unmoral. This leads us to the skills menu. In the game, the player can gain so-called intellect points by fulfilling certain tasks. For example, by completing main or side quests, or by having a discussion with a great person. These intellect points can then be spent on skills, divided in multiple brain areas. You can benefit from those skills in combat, stealth, or dialogue. On the other hand, aggressive or empathy-lacking behavior let this indicator rise. It illustrates the player's emotional stability. If it rises too high, the player will start to hallucinate in certain places and will lose previously achieved abilities step by step. All of this always influences the love-hate variable in the Factions and Ideologies tab. It is totally separate from your position on the circle of ideology, meaning there won't be any judgmental component arising from your ideological decisions. Now to the great persons. The great persons in the game are completely taken out of their historical context, without removing them from their social context as influential individuals. Cleon, for example, still serves as a demagogue for the masses, Rosa Luxemburg is still a moderately socialistic leader, and Albert Einstein is still one of the most influential theoretical physicians. In the course of the game you will meet these great persons, each of them connected to a smaller or larger story, referencing a historic event or illustrating the philosophic ideologic position of that character. Some of them are hidden and not easy to find. We want a player to be intrigued and eager enough to try and complete his encyclopedia by collecting all of them. Since the game's quest system is heavily based on the player's decisions and his ability to comprehend the world, we have included a tab where you can store all of your found clues and informations in paper form. You can also make use of your own notes. At the moment this notepad is just a simple editor, but we hope to expand its functions in the future. Books and newspapers can be found throughout the game. Sometimes they will give you deeper insights and information about the game world, sometimes you will find clues in them. We also use selected passages of scientists, philosophers, and ideologists that are public domain as books in the game. We use these as fillers to distract the player from the clues he is actually looking for. At all times the player must seek, think, and comprehend, and then act accordingly. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for your interest, and I hope you'll be back for the next video.